Welcome to Melville, Louisiana. Population, not very many at all. Maybe 1,000 people live in this area. This gas station was once an operating business and it is no longer. It is for sale, but I don't think anybody is coming to make any offers. And the lady that clearly lives in this gas station probably is wondering, what the heck am I doing outside of her establishment? And to her, I say, I'm doing a video today. She just wouldn't understand. Let's head down 10 miles south. Now that's where the real party begins. Krotz Springs, the big city. Population, a little more than Melville. So Krotz Springs is about 10 miles south of Melville. Both towns are right off of the Atchafalaya River, and it's somewhere between those 10 miles that this man is from. If you've never seen this picture before, it is a picture that is quite startling, and it woke up a nation to the realization that slavery was an abomination, in my opinion, against God itself, even though some of those slave owners would oftentimes cite the Bible in their defense of this cruel thing that was once a part of our nation's history. But the question is, who is the man in this picture? What happened to him? What's his real name? Whatever happened to him? Whatever happened to Whip Peter? Going back towards the end of March 1863, a very tired, very hungry, downtrodden, shabbily dressed black man waltzes into Baton Rouge, into the city marshal's office. And, well, he says, I'm here. Here I am, guys. Now, they're looking at him and they're trying to figure out, well, first of all, what are you saying? Because this guy doesn't speak English very well. A lot of enslaved black people that were in Louisiana, many of them didn't speak much English because most of the slave owners were of French descent. So they need to get an interpreter because this guy is speaking in very broken English and starts rapidly talking in French. So they sit him down and they get a translator and they said, okay, where are you from? Obviously this guy just escaped. And so he says, I escaped from my master's plantation about 40 miles away from here along the Atchafalaya River. It took me about 4 days or so to get over here. And so they're talking and they said, well, why'd you escape? Now, some of you might think that's a stupid question, but believe it or not, a lot of slaves didn't want to escape because they loved their masters. I mean, you might think this is stupid, but some of them treated their slaves very well and they almost looked up to their slave masters like they were their parents. It was very, very strange. So they asked him, well, why'd you escape? And he says, I got whipped badly. And he says, look at this. He takes off his shirt and everybody's like, listen, guys, you got to understand that a lot of people never seen the atrocities of slavery in front of their very eyes like that. Now, normally, if a black person has those kinds of scars on his back from back in those days, then, other black people, they're like, yeah, that ain't nothing. That ain't nothing new to us. But it was very shocking. And a man had taken the photo of, I guess we would call him Gordon or Whip Peter. I mean, who really knows his actual name? I'm going to go with Gordon. I have no idea. I don't even know why they call him Whipped Peter. So after taking his photo, it would later be seen by millions of people across the country because it was posted in magazine Harper's Weekly, showing pretty much the atrocities of slavery. Now, here is where the story gets a little bit murky because old stories like this, you really never know what's what. But according to Gordon or Whipped Peter, he said that he was owned by a man named Captain John Lyons. Captain John Lyons owned a cotton plantation, and also he was a carpenter. And he wasn't the one that whipped him. It was the Captain Lyons' overseer. So a lot of times they would hire an overseer to, dole out the beatings or the whippings or the punishments, or just to make sure that the slaves are in line. So he said he was beaten by a man named Artean Carrier, and that he said the beating was so bad that he was in bed for 2 months. He couldn't work. Now, you as a slave owner, you got to have some kind of punishment, right? But you don't want to whip a slave to the point where they can't work for 2 months, because you lose production, you lose productivity in the minds of a slave owner. So Captain Lyons, eventually he fired Carrier, let him go, told him don't come back here. And later on, after Peter whipped Peter, Gordon, whichever name you want to use, after his story was told, he joined the Union Army. And as for Captain Lyons, well, so he was later actually killed during a raid. So, not to get into another story, but when the Union Army, they were making their way up north, they were going to different plantations and basically taking everything. So if you were in the Union Army and your orders, other than to take any Confederates alive or kill them, whichever general is giving whichever orders for whatever regiment or troop, if you're going to a plantation, you take everything from the plantation. Everything you want, everything you need. They were going on this cotton stealing thing. They were taking cotton and any products that plantation had, and they would just confiscate it, and it would become U.S. Army property. So during a raid on his plantation, somebody shot and killed John Lyons. Why? Possibly this guy had a beef with him from the past. So he was like, yeah, is that you, John? Hey, John. And, just boom, shot him dead. I have no idea. I really don't know. The story ends somewhere in this city of Baton Rouge. We don't know what happened to Gordon, whipped Peter, whatever his real name was. He walked away and disappeared. Nobody was trying to find him, interview him. Maybe he wanted to be left alone. And he just disappeared into obscurity. But his photo remains a lesson about the horrors of slavery. Anybody know who this guy is right here? I did a video about him a couple years back. Next time I come to Baton Rouge, Louisiana, I'll probably include his story in the dark side of. But that is the state capital right there. That is where he was killed. Okay, guys, I am out of here. I'm hitting the road. I think I'm going, honestly, why do I say places that I'm going when half the time I end up not going? I don't know. Florida, perhaps. Maybe I'm going to Florida. Maybe we will go to Florida. Maybe I'll see you there. Come with me now. Be good. Peace out.